Hi, and welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast, where we talk about all things flute. If you're looking for more tips or lessons from Emily, please check out musigy.com for all the sheet music, transcriptions, albums, books, and flute lesson packages. That's musigy.com, MUSOGY.com. Also, if you're looking for posters, fingering charts, or merch, you can head over at our merch store at store.theflutechannel.com for all your flute needs. If you want to help us on a monthly basis, you can also consider joining us over at Patreon for as little as $2 a month. This helps us make more great content for you. Check the description for more info. Now on with the show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Flute Talk Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Emily.
How's it going, Emily?
Good, how are you?
Good. So today...
It's a great day.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Today we released this morning we released the Telemann 12 Fantasias album for everybody to listen to, and it's also a PDF and sheet music album all together in one. So you can go over at musigy.com and find it there. Find the link in the description or in the chat. We have, if you're listening to this live, we have a link in the chat box as well. So yeah, it's been 2 years to make the album. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you feel about today and how...
I'm so happy because we've been working on that for a while now, learning it, and then, so at first we were thinking of making an album, and that was it. But then I was also teaching the Fantasias to some students, and I noticed that when they had the text version, so text is when you have the bare bone, only what the composer wrote.
Right.
And in the Baroque period, composers didn't write articulations, didn't write ornaments. You're supposed to add ornaments when you play it. Supposed to, like, you can. And also didn't put any dynamics and stuff like that,
Yep.
And so some of my students were a bit confused on how to add those. Even if I explained it, it was a lot of work for them, and I thought, and even some advanced students, and I thought, well, I should make my own edition at the same time, because I was already doing it while learning all of them, like choosing my own articulations and all that stuff, all that interpretative work, and I thought that could be very helpful, because people can find the text now for free online.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that getting an edition like ours is a little added value. So if you get the album, you also get the music, the PDF, which is cool. If you're not a flutist and you just want to listen, you can just listen and not use the PDF, but you'll still have it. And for flutists who want to use it, then you have the music with my own choices of interpretation in there, which are just suggestions, you can do whatever you want, but at least it gives you a little starting point, and if you don't feel like choosing, you can just play that, and if you want to change stuff, you can change stuff, or start from scratch too. Get a, everything's possible. But yeah, it was a fun endeavor. Those are amazing pieces. It's a big canon of the flute repertoire. So yeah, it's exciting. I hope that you'll like it. So it's on our website, musigy.com today.
Yeah, it's over at musigy.com, and yeah, we're just super excited to bring it out, and yeah, I just love the fact that it's a sheet music thing, sheet music and album. I know, like, when I was a kid learning music and stuff, like, I always loved to have an album in the sheet music, and if the person was doing something fun, like, different repeats and stuff like that, I would love to have known them and not have to transcribe them. So, like, something like this was something that was cool to do with you and put together and produce it, and we're all super happy to have a final album, and it's your first debut album, so it's a good one to start with.
Yeah.
And
like you said, when I do a repeat and I add ornaments, they're all written in the ornaments.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
It also gives ideas on what you can do. You don't have to do those ones. Even when we listen to the recordings, sometimes I don't do exactly what I wrote every time. Like, it's pretty close, but I noticed that when I recorded it, I didn't always on the spot. Sometimes I changed a little thing, and it's totally fine because it's in the spirit of Baroque music.
Absolutely. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and take a look at it. There'll be plenty of information about that in the next couple days. We're also going to release a album music video as well later in the week. And also there'll be some just practicings as well about some of these, all of them hopefully in the next couple weeks. We're going to do a couple, every couple, sporadically throughout the winter. And hopefully you'll have also a little bit of learning material as well and something that you can use with the album and the sheet music and and that'll be all on the just practicing will be on YouTube for you guys to follow along like usual.
Yeah, usually we do it live. It's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
So probably we'll do all of them.
Yeah.
Fun little end of a project in a way, like
exactly.
to loop the whole thing and
yeah.
So.
But this is also a show for your questions too. So if you're here live in the chat, be sure to leave any questions about how we produce our album, or even just general flute questions, about flute playing and stuff like that. You can also let us know what you've been playing in the chat. But I just wanted to know, like, out of all of the movement, out of all of them, do you have typical favorite ones or ones that you typically gravitate to in the Telemann?
I like pretty much all of them, but I guess the first one I learned when I was younger was the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember working on it with one of my favorite flute teachers, and so I have good memories of learning that one, and we worked hard on this, and so I like it a lot. I think the 6th one is gorgeous as well. The 3rd one, they all have something, like the first one when it starts with with all that speed, and it's so like brilliant, and they all have a little something. I think it's a very inspired work.
Yeah, and like, kind of interesting. I think, I don't know how you would think about it, but do you think how he wrote them? Do you think he wrote them progressively in difficulty? Do you think he wrote them in a specific way to better the musician? Like, or do you think, or what do you think what do you think?
I don't think he.
No, huh?
He thought of it as a pedagogical tool.
Yeah, no. That's what I thought. Yeah.
No, I think it's just.
Because they're all in different keys. I don't think there's any one of those any one of those Fantasias have the same key as the other Fantasias. He does different keys, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's not like Bach's Prelude and Fugues that do all of them. Like,
right. Absolutely.
I don't think it is. But I was looking at that the other day, and I did finish my... Because I was thinking about that, I started looking, and then I thought about something else. I started doing something else. I was like, because I wanted to check, because sometimes some movements are in a different key.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
It's going to be the relative or something like that. And I wanted to write down each movement which key it was written in, and just check that. But I'll do it before one of the just practicings. I'll look at that.
Exactly.
And this way we could, no.
Exactly.
Because I didn't pay attention that much to that. But I think they're all in different keys, because I remember when I was recording them, to get in the key, I would play the scale of that fantasy before recording it. And yes, they are.
Okay.
So I think it's more in that type of progression of keys than difficulty in a pedagogical way. Because the first one is pretty difficult with all the double tonguing,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're all almost kind of all showpieces in a way. Like, like, is there any one of them that you find to be like the most showy or the most like fun, I guess, that you kind of think about often?
I don't know. Like the first one, I think is showy because it starts very like. It's not easy to play. But they all have fast and slow movements.
Yeah.
So what I like about it as well is that let's say for a student or for anyone,
Mm-hmm.
you play that, and in a quite short piece, you know, like you have, let's say, 4 movements typically, but sometimes more or less 4 movements, and you'll always have fast and slow, so you can kind of showcase your expressivity and also your virtuosity in one piece, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so like
It's always moving, you know.
It's
when
always
short
moving, yeah.
movements, there's something else coming, like I like that.
yeah. So yeah, and then like we're just looking forward to doing more stuff in the future, and it's just kind of a relief that it's out now, and we're super happy about it, and we're just
Yeah, now we
and it's
can
great
think of
response and
other projects, because that was a long thing to
exactly.
do.
Yeah, making an album, you know, you got to really it's different than making, let's say, a video for YouTube or something like that, because you're making something that's I don't know, a different type of thing. It's a different product. It's a different type of
Yeah.
thing. So you know, you have to be even more concise, and just also your level of I don't know.
But
Yeah.
also, I think what took us a lot of time was the music.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm,
every time I would look at it, I was like, oh, I forgot this.
Oh yeah,
there's a mistake
reviews
there.
upon
Oh.
review upon review
Yeah.
upon review upon review. But it's good. It's like that's what we like to do, and
Yeah.
it's pretty fantastic. And yeah, and like if you guys do go and get the album, be sure to listen to it, enjoy it, do what you can, and also go and leave a review on it too over on our website. We also have reviews. We've been getting a bunch of reviews on all of our other products, and gosh, just so many great comments and on that realm and on that front as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah, and so we have a couple people from like Ohio, Adam, Fulvio, I think that's Italian maybe. So many wonderful people today. And yeah, what else is there in
What
there?
are people saying? Are people
Nothing, just saying top of the morning, no questions yet. We're just, people are trickling in, which is great. And probably people are going and getting the album, hopefully. But yeah, I really like number 6. 6 is like the most, for me, like very, very like,
it's gorgeous.
flourish. 3 is very good too, and yeah, it's
6th one, I think, starts with so much emotion.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
absolutely,
It's pretty nice.
yeah. So do you have any aspects for something in the future for a new album or anything like that, or?
Well, right now I want to, I have a technique book for a little bit more advanced technique for, let's say, someone who would have already an intermediate level and wants to get to the, you know, as high as you can get in, basically in virtuosity on the flute, like to build your technique. So it could be used for someone who has finished the intermediate book or not, you know, like.
Yeah.
And it's all in my head, and I started writing it. I just have to finish writing it, so I
Mm-hmm.
want to finish that. Then I would like to work on a piano method, because I have taught piano a lot, and I play the piano as well. I still teach it, and so I think I could do something cool with that for people who either I would like to do 2 different ones.
Mm-hmm.
One that's for musicians who already know music but want to learn how to play piano, and one for people who start from scratch. So I don't know what I'll start with, but those are 2 things that I want to do. But also I would like to make another album. I have different ideas. I was thinking maybe French solo flute music.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Or
Cool.
maybe something completely different.
Yeah.
It could be so many things. Like, I have so many ideas. It's just to pick a project and do it.
Mhm.
And then, like, then pick another one and do it. It's not like, it's not about finding ideas for projects. It's just about saying which one to do first. I guess that's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Have we had a lot of the same types of questions on the channel recently, do you think?
Yeah, we've had a lot of just active people. Also, just a lot of people right now, because it's October, November. A lot of people are practicing, and so a lot of people are looking at videos, and people leaving specific types of comments and specific types of, you know, like, our general questions as usual.
So
That's the
like
thing.
about sound, I think sound
Yeah, tone
questions,
and tone. Yeah.
it's the probably most asked questions.
Of course, yeah. And we just get a lot of people who are just beginners and just, that want to know how to kind of get rid of the air in their tone.
But I think at every level of, as a flutist, the sound, it's always a big
It's an ongoing issue for.
it's an ongoing, yeah, you always
Yeah.
have to work on it. When I don't practice much for a little while, the first thing, well, it's funny, sometimes I take my flute and it sounds super good right away,
Mhm.
but then the second day, not so good. Like, it's like, I think there's some little muscles that are not as sharp, not as well trained if you haven't played for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But then they come back because I've played so much, it's like people who do weightlifting and stuff, or like when they stop, if they start again, the body has the type of memory,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's the same with that, it comes back. But yeah, the sound on the flute, it's something so, it's a big challenge, and also it's very personal in a way.
Yeah.
We don't sound all the same, and so that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we get general questions like that, but it's just, with the channel, it's we just get so many. It's just, and it's trying to catch up all the time, but yeah, we get it's fun, and like what's great about the channel is that we can always react with people right away after and stuff like that, and I can see a lot of people going at the this week and last week, especially flute tone, air in the sound, getting rid of air in the sound,
Yeah.
and also a lot of people doing the beginner series and the beginner playlists. We have a couple playlists that are pretty fabulous for people wanting to get refreshed on the flute or start back up in fresh.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say don't worry too much about having a little bit of air in your sound. It's
Mhm.
totally normal.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be air close by,
Mm-hmm.
and even in our recording, the microphone was close by, and you can hear that there's a little bit of air, because you can't make a flute sound with no air at all. It's impossible, because there's air going inside and air going outside. That's the whistle. That's what makes the whistle. And so if you play very far, you won't hear it. If you're closer, you'll hear it a little bit. But it's part of the beauty of the flute sound, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it doesn't overpower your sound and you have more air than sound, But if there's a little bit of it's kind of part of it.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam here has a question. He wants to know, what's the worst flute you ever played?
The worst flute I've ever played? I think I had probably an old Armstrong, like, that was not well maintained and had like it hadn't been overhauled in a long time, and all the pads were old and the mechanism didn't close anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen that, and like you can't make a sound. You can't
Mm-hmm.
stuff does it leaks too much,
Mhm,
and you
mhm.
can't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do. The best flutist couldn't have it
Right.
sound well, because
Yeah.
it doesn't close well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty
And you?
interesting. Oh, I would be a no-name flute. Like I remember having an old flute when I was a child, and it was no-name flute, and I think the C key was always it was always making too much moisture, and it was making like a bubble, and so always making like a little moisture bubble in the C, and I
The
think
low
sometimes
C
no
or
high
the-
C like
oh
that.
my God.
So I always had to people we always had to blow that bubble out all the time, and it was just
So when you were in
elementary school, just elementary school. It was
You had
just
that
that's
in
it.
elementary school?
Yes, yeah, elementary school.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that was my flute. So yeah, that was the worst one I ever had, and so it's just because I would play a melodic line and it would
And
just
you could-
stop, and then it would just stop, and then I would have to
Yeah, that's
do that. So
frustrating.
that was pretty frustrating. So that's pretty bad flute. So it was like a really bad. I don't know. I can't remember why. Like I don't know. I couldn't even guess why it would be doing that so much. Maybe it was just like a engineering problem. I have no idea. But it was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's like yeah, if you're asking like worst models flutes, well, I don't know about that. Like there's so many bad flutes out there, but there's so many good flutes out there. So
Oh yeah.
what is the
And
best? Oh,
sometimes, like sometimes, not a very expensive flute, but if it's well maintained and it doesn't leak, and it's gonna be fine
yeah.
as well.
And well maintained is basically like you have to kind of maintain it yourself when you buy a flute. So you have to kind of know the kind of brief rules about how to kind of bring your flute back to a good condition all the time. So like make sure you kind of bring it to a technician every year at least if you're playing a lot, very least, so that people can look at it, put it back together, because it's like any instrument, any mechanism or any instrument, through wear and tear, it wears down, and then you have to kind of bring it back up to standard. And then Brian here, he has a sort of a second question right next to it. What is the best flute you played? Best flute we play. What is the best flute you played?
I'm not sure. I really love my flute because I'm used to it. But it's not the best flute, but it's I really like it a lot. Because I guess when you get used to a flute, it's easier to play. I don't know. I remember trying for head joints the La Fin like a long time ago, maybe maybe 20 years ago. That was a very good head joint. And I've tried some nice Powells and nice Brannons that were very good. Yeah, there's a lot of good flutes, so I couldn't say exactly which was the best, but oh, I remember first year we did our flute festival in Montreal. There was this guy from Boston. I loved his flute. What was his name again?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember.
Forget. But I loved his flutes. But yeah, sometimes even people like that are like makers on their own can make amazing things.
Absolutely. There's a lot of independent makers, which are really independent, like one or two people, sometimes just one person making flutes, and then there's whole teams, like Haynes and Powell and
yeah. But this guy made amazing flutes. I thought it sounded great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
No, favorite flutes are so many, but like even Yamahas are great too. But like Yamahas and Muramatsus and so many great flutes. But I've tried really cool like platinum and gold flutes from Powell and other companies, and they're all really great. Like people make fabulous flutes, and they, there's independent makers that just make head joints that can really make your flute sound, like make you sound way better, because these makers are trying to make something that works for everybody, but at a very high level. So, there's a lot of general little things that makers do. So, you have to try different flutes because everybody's so different.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about a lot in some of our flute review videos for flutes and stuff, saying that, that you have to try different flutes and even same models of the same flute, because sometimes they're just built differently, and you should give yourself a lot of time. Like you should give yourself at least a couple days, or like what the Flute Center in New York and other people do. They do trials at least a couple days. You need a couple days, not just a practice session with the flute you want to buy at a store. You want to go back and forth, or see if there's a lending program or whatever. You got to figure out something to have it for a little bit longer, so you can have a feel of what to expect.
Yeah.
There is and then you just got to take that risk with the flute that you're going to buy and invest time in sounding better on that instrument. Yeah.
And some people say, I don't sound good on gold. I sound better on silver. And some people say I sound better on... I think personally that I sound better on silver. Once I tried Oromite, and I thought it sounded pretty good. But like it depends, Also, some people prefer some materials, and like you said, we're all different. It's not one size fits all, because this person says it's great, that for you it's going to be the best.
Exactly. Brian says his favorite flute is the Armstrong Flute S. I haven't heard about that. I haven't heard that one, but yeah. But like, I wanted to go back on the worst flute thing, just what Adam was mentioning, is that even over on one of the Discords, one of the chat groups, there's a whole entire thing about like worst flutes, and people show pictures of worst flutes, and it's quite quite funny and horrifying at the same time, like flutes being run over by a car or something like
Oh
that, you
my
know, like
God.
things like that. And gosh, if you haven't seen that, we'll have to leave a link in the description, but we'll, it just reminds me of that when people say the worst flute. I always think about all those photos and all those
When I
things
was
like
in high
that.
school, our teacher said that, I don't know if it was true or just to, like a tale so that we wouldn't do that, but not to leave our flute on the couch
Uh-huh.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because once a student did that, and
Mhm.
the dad hadn't seen the flute, he sat on it, and then the flute was
Yeah.
like a banana, you know.
Oh,
And it was over. Nothing they could do to, like, it was too broken to
exactly.
be repaired.
Oh, that's too bad.
So, like,
Banana. Oh,
always
no.
be careful where you leave your flute.
For sure,
Like
for
they
sure.
were like, oh, I'm just gonna get a glass of water. Don't leave it on the
No,
couch.
don't leave it on the couch, or even by an open window. You never know. A rogue storm could come and water can go right on top of it. Who knows?
Yeah, you have an animal. Who,
Animal,
walks
yeah.
and, like a cat.
Or is a little too
goes,
curious. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. Ah, Big Papi. He wants to know. I started playing flute because I wanted to sing soprano, but I'm actually a baritone. Are there any tips for you for trying to make your flute sound more like a song? That's actually pretty amazing. That's actually our whole entire goal, I think, in flute, right? Is to sound like sort of like a singer sometimes, to be very melodic and vocal and
Yeah, and
in our phrasing.
There's a lot of similarities between the
Big
technique
time.
of flute and singing. You know, like with the way we keep the throat open.
Yeah.
And when I say open, I don't mean like open your throat. I just mean don't close it. Because like sometimes I feel like I've noticed that. I think last week, some students, when I say to keep the throat open, they
Uh-huh.
kind of feel like they have to do something, and then they start working, like, and they make little
Mhm.
noises, or they start making a very intense vibrato. I'm like, no, just don't close it. Just let it be. In a way, you just go as if you were saying,
Yeah, less
you
is
know,
more. Yeah, like that. But but instead blow instead of making a noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the same, and we use vowels a lot, and singers
Yeah.
use vowels because vowels are what, when you sing, the vowel is what transports the sound.
Yeah,
The
it's the
consonants-
carrier.
Yeah, it's a carrier. The consonants are just like, let's say, our tonguing.
Mhm.
They
Make the accents.
yeah, you know, or they make it more clear so that we know what's being said. But the vowels are what transports the sound.
Yes.
And I know that they work a lot on their vowels. But for us, we can use vowels also to change the color. We can go or we can go oh, and then that changes the shape of the mouth inside, and that changes the type of sound that comes out. And so you can use that and try to emulate a little bit what you do when you sing on your flute, and it's gonna help you a lot. And look at our videos about like embouchure,
Yeah.
first sounds, and all that stuff. And we have a lot. Like you said, we have beginners
Playlist, yeah, playlists,
and
yeah.
there's also our method that's
Yeah.
very good. But yeah, if you want to, also beginners tend to stop blowing in between each note.
Exactly.
It's
One of the big
totally
tendencies,
normal,
yeah.
because what happens is that it's so difficult to change the fingerings that it's difficult for people to continue blowing while they're thinking about their fingerings. But once you'll get over that and you'll be able to continue blowing between notes, it's gonna sound more melodic and more like a singer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like some of the top like couple 3 or 4 tendencies flutists, I don't know, other musicians do, and it's that thing you were just saying, like breathing between the notes or breathing between in spaces that you're not
It's more
supposed
like
to, like
breathe in between each note.
each
because
note,
you
yeah,
have
each
to
note.
breathe sometimes between notes, but what I hear in beginners, and
Yeah.
it's normal again, but it's like they go ta ta ta
Yeah.
ta ta, and then
But it's just good to be
also-
aware of that, you know. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, be aware of these tendencies, because there's a couple of them that we all used to have or still have or whatever, but it's good to be reminded about
Yeah.
them, you know.
And also be patient. It might take a little while, but
Yeah.
what you can do to work on that is just work on the fingerings by themselves without
Yeah.
playing, and then try to go while you do the fingerings, and then and then it comes. Just knowing that it's there and you have to work on it,
Yeah.
and being patient and just remembering to work on it, it's gonna get better.
Yeah. And, like, I know people who are quite, like, I know some flutists who are baritone singers, like some men that are flutists, and, like, it kind of makes some of them I've noticed when I hear them play, like because of their lowness in their whatever they're doing when they're breathing and stuff like that, they sound a little different than, let's say, a person who's a little bit more high pitched and stuff like that. There's a little bit of like, you have your own character when you're playing your instrument. So I wouldn't think too much because you're a baritone or whatever. Like, it's not going to.
No, it's gonna still sound like a flute sound because
Yes.
it's gonna sound high.
Yeah.
Because it's a high instrument,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I don't think that it's like you're right. It's not gonna make you play not as well as
No.
soprano. Let's say. It has
Yeah,
nothing to do
no,
with it.
no.
There's amazing flutists
Yeah.
who are men and
Who are like
very
low
tone
voice,
or have
yeah,
low voices.
yeah, and play perfectly fine, and they
Yeah,
just sound,
gorgeous
yeah, they have
sounds.
gorgeous sounds, yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, but this play more melodically and stuff like that. Like you said, don't breathe between all the notes. Every note, that will help with a phrase sounding better. Learn where to breathe. That can help a phrase sound better. Tone, the right notes, all those things
But
contribute to
it's
making
really
a good.
bit like in singing.
Yes.
You're not gonna breathe in the middle of a
No.
phrase. You're gonna find so like all those things
Yeah.
that you learned when you were singing, you can use it.
Exactly.
And also for musicality, usually if you sing a phrase, then try to emulate what you did with your voice with your flute, because it's rare that we're not musical when we sing. Sometimes when we play an instrument, we are not musical, but
Yeah.
when we sing, usually it's pretty musical. So I would say sing it and then try to emulate that with your flute.
Exactly. So we're going to probably end the show in a little bit, but we just want to do a couple reminders about all the things that we have available for here on the channel. We do the Flute Talk podcast usually on the last Sunday of every month. We're going to try to keep that current again this season, and you can find that here or wherever you find podcasts as well. You can subscribe to us there and leave a review over on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. We also have TFC Unlimited over on Patreon, which is all of our content here on YouTube commercial free, which you can pay a monthly fee to have there, and also you can talk to us directly there. If you have questions that you want to have a more one-on-one conversation, we answer some questions, and we have a nice community there, and we're really proud that we have all of our content there, commercial free for everyone still, if everybody wants to support us that way. And also we have our physical store where our posters and shirts and stuff like that over at theflutechannel.com/store. And then we have our album and our our packages, our teaching packages as well, and everything over at musigy.com. And so you can go check out that and go buy our album there at musigy.com. I think that's everything, right? And then we have our YouTube channel, obviously. You can go in, if you've just started watching this or you just found out about us, go and subscribe. Leave a comment, thumbs up.
Yeah.
All those wonderful things we do here on YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot more videos. We have a couple of videos coming out this week and also throughout the next couple weeks as well. So if you have any requests or anything like that, please be sure to leave a comment down below. Or if you have any ideas, we'd love to know what we can do more.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Opinion is very
Matters.
valuable.
Yeah, all
It's
your
like,
opinions matter. Yeah.
we do that for you.
Exactly. You're all our important fans, and we're
Yeah.
trying to try our best to do even more this year. And so, yeah, we appreciate all your support. Everybody's support has been so grateful, and we've been very, very lucky and blessed to have so many great fans.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for listening and watching and
Yeah.
participating in different ways. So
Totally.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a great project and great community.
exactly.
I love you guys.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna call for today, and then we're gonna do there's gonna be some more videos coming out this week, and we're gonna keep you all up to date and in contact over on the community page here on YouTube. But yeah, let us know in the comments how you like the video, and if you are watching this after, please go to the YouTube video and leave it a like if you're listening to this over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much, everybody. This has been great. Nice little opener for everybody, and we're hopefully going to talk again next month over on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.